The actual making of the jacket is a very private process in a way, much the way reading a book is a private process. I read the manuscript and then I design something, at which point I will show it to the editor in question and try to make jackets that are smart, and if you look at them long enough, you'll understand that the jacket represents the narrative in a deeper way, but the first job really is to get someone's attention. And often I'll have long and fruitful conversations both with authors and editors about their books. It's frankly my favorite part of the job. I mean, I like talking about books.
One of the first things we do is meet with our authors to decide what the visual program's going to be, the thing that's going to complement their text, the things that's going to set the style for the book, and we set the tone for what the brand of that book's going to be.
Quite often we have the text and then we also have the pictures that come much later, and we spend a lot of time perfecting the text, and then it's only after we think the text is just perfect that we start trying to find illustrators who we think are right for the story. It's really our job to make sure that the illustrator brings whatever they bring to it, but keeping in mind the voice of that author.
There's always been an emphasis at Random House for fine bookmaking. There's a great deal of energy and care that goes into the manufacture of every single book. Random House has always been very amenable to using the latest technology, using the latest manufacturing techniques as far as optimal reproduction that is going to be unmatched in the industry.
We're working very closely with all of the platform developers and their R&D teams to figure out what is the best use of that and what is the best use as they're developing new technologies. And the one thing that they can always be certain about is that we'll be doing whatever's cutting edge at the time that the book is released.
The particular media outlet that can really drive that book and help break it out and find a very broad audience will range from book to book. It may be that daily review in the New York Times that makes all the difference. It may be an interview on NPR. It may, oddly enough, be a blogger tour or a chatter that begins on the online space among bloggers and takes on a viral life of its own. We spend a lot of time continuing to maintain our existing relationships with the mainstream media. From literary fiction to politics and from cooking to craft, we've developed extensive networks of bloggers that we're in touch with every day on behalf of our authors.
A big part of the publicist-author relationship is just sort of being there for them and answering any questions that they have and hand-holding to a certain extent and just being there for them when they need it most.
We believe that we can help create some of the conversation about books online. So we've developed several of these websites in order to create the dialogue or the story behind the story about many of our books and authors. We can potentially syndicate this information out, have these stories appear in other places on the web. We try to write really interesting stories, really compelling storylines that people can share virally, potentially in their own social media, that we can amplify our author's audience and their message.
In our marketing department, we really look at what we provide as a suite of services to an author. So we have experts in social media, we have experts in traditional advertising, we have experts in word of mouth. So in the life of the book, after we've read it, after we've come together and we've discussed the themes that we think will resonate with the different audiences, when it comes time to actually create the marketing campaign, we draw from the experts that we have on the team.
We have a lot of fun author chats where readers will have the opportunity to ask questions and the author will answer in real time, really get dialogue going about who has inspired them along the way, in their writing, some of their favorite authors, some of their tips to aspiring writers. So it's a really wonderful way for them to connect directly with people that are reading their books and people that, of course, want to be writers someday too.
We start early and really focus on the content of the book, and we figure out who the audience for the book is at any given account, because that's really where it has to start. Every person at every account has their own reading tastes, and I think the strength of our force is knowing those and realizing the importance to learning those.
We have 2 warehouses in our United States distribution network. One facility is located in Crawfordsville, Indiana, and the other is in Westminster, Maryland. These 2 facilities comprise 1.8 million square feet, which is roughly 40 football fields. We ship over 1 million books per day out of these two facilities combined.
What we do at Random House International Sales and Marketing is promote and sell our books globally. We are responsible for selling and managing the marketing of all of our titles outside of the US and Canada, and we promote those books physically and digitally around the world. We are in 15,000 physical book outlets, and our books are available digitally on every possible multinational online store.
I spend most of my days working with independent bookstores, talking to the buyers at those stores who do the ordering and decide which books will work in those particular stores. Now, what's really great about Random House is we have such great relationships with those bookstore owners and staff, and we know those stores' customers. We have email relationships with them, we have email newsletters, we're on Twitter and Facebook with those people, and we have a lot of credibility.
It's really like this really deep ingrained love of, of a book and of reading and of that process of kind of falling into kind of somebody else's imagination.
This company really supports writers and talent. That's our goal.